For me, surfing is a spiritual experience. I've learned so much from the ocean. I've learned patience, waiting for waves. I've experienced joy, being out in the ocean with my friends or having a really good surf day. But living in Colorado, there's not a lot of surf here to be found. Getting connected to the rivers has kind of been my outlet for getting that spiritual connection to water. I found that even though I'm a surfer and I'm in this landlocked state of Colorado, I could still find that feeling. I could find that joy that I felt surfing, but now doing it in rivers. So the river surfing journey begins in the mountains. It begins at the top of these 14,000 foot peaks here in Colorado. We are blessed with amazing amounts of skiing. That's what Colorado is known for. And that snow that makes Colorado so famous, eventually, in the springtime, will melt. The flow and the speed of these rivers is what allows these river surfing waves to occur. And so when there's less snow in the mountains, there's less water in the river, which means there's less surfing to be done. So as a river surfer, I'm a little bit scared of the future, knowing that this amazing recreational opportunity might not be around forever. And so the goal is to go and surf these waves before they disappear. There are two waves here. The first one is called Scout Wave. Second wave is called Scout Wave 2.0. Once they built Scout Wave 2.0, no one went to Scout Wave anymore. And I'm thinking of maybe surfing this one because there's like 10 people at that one and no one on this one. River is flowing. So time to get the wetsuit on and hop in.
Living like nobody knows, they can't hold on to love and live by the law of the jungle.
So it's May here in Colorado, which means the snow is melting off of these peaks into these valleys and into the rivers, which means river surfing season is open. My favorite wave in Colorado is in Salida. They've built so much for river surfers in this town. There are wetsuit rental shops. There is a board manufacturing company that is located in Salida that has helped build this wave and has provided so many recreational opportunities. And although where I live in Boulder is a few hours away from Salida, I will, at the drop of a hat, take a trip to go surf this wave. It is absolutely worth it. When I first started river surfing, I felt like this fix of like, oh my gosh, like I can surf in Colorado. And then when I surfed this wave in Salida for the first time, I realized this is what river surfing is all about. The potential on this wave is so cool. As an amateur river surfer, I can have so much fun on it for sure, but there are people doing high performance moves on this wave, which is so fun and definitely worth the drive. So as the snow is melting and the rivers are running, it's a good time of year to go try to surf this wave before it disappears. When I first heard of the declining water levels in Colorado rivers, I was definitely pretty nervous. As someone that gets so much joy from water worldwide, whether it be the ocean or the rivers, it always makes me a little sad to see something like this happening with climate change affecting how much snow is in the mountains and how much water is in these rivers. There are parts of Colorado that are drying up, and that's spooky, that's scary. I'd want to be able to surf these waves with my kids someday, with my grandkids someday. As an environmentalist, I can't help but feel a little bit nervous about these issues. I do think a lot of these environmental issues, there's so much doom and gloom when it comes to these conversations, but there are people that are doing really good work in getting water back to these rivers. So just finished up surfing, and now we're gonna head over to talk with Barrett and Tony from the Colorado Water Trust and learn more about what they're doing to bring water back into the rivers here in Colorado. Thanks so much for showing up. I'm so stoked. This is awesome. Yeah, I love it.
So I'm Tony LaGreca, and I am the Stewardship Manager for the Colorado Water Trust.
I'm Garrett Donovan, and I'm the Development and Engagement Manager at Colorado Water Trust.
Sweet. Can you guys tell me about what the Colorado Water Trust does?
Yeah, totally. So Colorado Water Trust, we're a small nonprofit in Colorado, and we work all throughout the state putting water back into rivers. Basically, our tagline is just add water, and so it's pretty simple. We basically believe that more water in rivers is really good for communities and the environment.
Could you walk me through like what the scenario, like what's the current situation like in Colorado? What's the state of water here?
I would say climate change, really big issue. In terms of rivers and water, climate change is causing summers to be hotter than they've been in the past and oftentimes drier than they've been in the past as well. And then in the winters, we're seeing less snowfall or we're seeing higher temperatures more quickly in the season, so it causes the snow to melt faster. And so generally that means that there's just less water flowing into the rivers throughout the season because of those climatic changes.
For the longest time, you could not use water in any way that wasn't these kind of three ways: municipal, industrial, and agricultural. But in the 70s, the state recognized that in-stream flow has a use. And that's where we come in. So we come in and we work on in-stream flow acquisitions for the benefit of the environment and the waters of the state.
Yeah, so basically in-stream flow is just water flowing through the river. So in-stream flow of water. Just water for the environment, basically. That's the use. So it's pretty cool that that recognizes that it's not only a human consumption as a use, but that actually putting it for the environment is a viable use.
Why is in-stream flow important? Like, why is it important to have water downriver?
So it's important to have water in rivers for a lot of different reasons. For the environment, you need it for fish, obviously. You need it for the aquatic species, bugs, plants. If you have a dried up river, not a lot's going to live there. So just kind of very basic ecology, you need water for that purpose. Community-wise, it's really important to have water in the river. I mean, if there wasn't enough water, you wouldn't be able to surf, people wouldn't be able to raft, you wouldn't be able to kayak, fish, all of that.
You guys want to walk down next to the river for a hot sec?
Sure,
Just
yeah.
check out the wave. Sure. Coming at it from surfing, I'm like, it's so cool. This is so cool. I feel like if I was just like, yeah, I paddleboarded a couple times, I'd look at this and be like, this is terrifying. Like, that looks so scary. It's like 12 feet tall and looks like it's gonna just eat you.
So the flow goes from subcritical to supercritical, and when that happens, you get a wave.
Supercritical. And you perform your supercritical move on your supercritical wave. River surfing waves are just so cool. They form in like the most unique ways. And I just love that nature just like naturally does this. And as humans, we decided like, hey, let's be innovative and like take this thing that occurs in nature and like make it bigger and better and more optimal for surfing. Just so cool. So water in rivers flows downstream. When it hits an object, it will flow over that object. When the object is high enough, the water will hit that and sort of start to make this standing wave. So it's a balance between the shape of the riverbed and the amount of water that's flowing over it. And the sensation of this is wild compared to ocean surfing. When you're surfing in the ocean, you're going through space. You're moving, you're going 30 miles an hour down the line, and you feel like the rush of the wind and you feel like you're really moving. River surfing, you still feel like you're really moving on your feet because the water moving underneath your board is pretty fast, but it's a really bizarre sensation because you're actually standing still. The wave that we surf in Salida, is a manufactured man-made wave. So the bottom of the river is actually concrete and it is made so that it is optimal for surfing. So it's a recreationally designed whitewater park to have these effects of surfing, but even outside of water parks, these sorts of waves exist as well. Surfing feels different here. Of course, we're in the Rocky Mountains and it feels like a little bit of a foreign place to be putting on a wetsuit and getting your board and hopping in, but it also feels delicate. It feels like it can disappear at any moment. And later in the fall, it does disappear. You can't surf year-round here. And trust me, I've tried. That was a pretty unsuccessful surfing endeavor. This isn't a sport that is totally safe from the threats of climate change. As water dries up, so do our surfing opportunities. The more value that people have put on recreation, they put on that water flowing the river, the more people care about that, the harder it is for big changes to just like discount recreation or discount the environment. Go surf, go wade on your river, go fishing, go do that, because any big projects, anything that happens with water, if there's people who care, but who, because they went out and surfed and they're involved, those users now have like a voice at the table.
There's wins for everybody. We just have to find them. And because people go out and recreate and because people care, now those wins have to include them.
Recreation in rivers gets people to care about rivers. You know, I was drawn to the Water Trust to work at the Water Trust because our projects are so impactful in really specific locations. And so to be able to do something that is making a tangible difference, even if it's on kind of a smaller scale, I think gives me hope. And I think that's kind of what we all need to be able to do, is find one thing that we're really passionate about and able to make a difference on that, and then it kind of ripples up, because it's really easy to get bogged down in the big stuff, and then if you're paralyzed, nothing's going to happen. So if you can do something, it feels good.
Like a lifeboat when you're lost at sea, I will carry you when it's hard to breathe. Should your eyes grow tired but you can't sleep, my love, don't let go, hold on to me.
It's not about where the water comes from, these snowy peaks or these beautiful winding river valleys. It's about where it goes, to the food we eat, to the places we power, and the people we meet. Surfing has always brought me so much joy, but it's sometimes hard to stay optimistic in a situation like this. When I meet inspiring people like Barrett and Tony from the Colorado Water Trust, I can't help but get excited about what the future can bring. There are people doing what they can to bring this joy that I feel to other people by protecting these beautiful places. While the barriers facing the rivers in Colorado are significant, there remains a powerful current of hope and resilience in our actions and innovations. Communities, governments, and organizations are coming together like never before, combining traditional knowledge with new technologies to forge solutions that not only sustain, but replenish the lifeblood of the West. By embracing water conservation, sustainable policies, and valuing every drop, just like the Colorado Water Trust are doing, we're not just adapting, we are leading the way toward a more balanced and water-wise future.